Welcome back to the Guardian Alliance. Today, we're here with a full crew of Jedi to bring you in to talk about the Guardian Alliance, to talk about the courses that you guys have been going through. If you're just getting started, we're here to answer your questions. We're here to address any concerns you have, either in the intro course or in any of the materials that you've read or videos that you've watched so far. If you're coming in from YouTube or from Google Plus or from anywhere else like Facebook, we hope you'll join us on the page that is called Live Mastery Ring 1 Axial Alignment. That's in the Guardian Alliance itself. That's where the conversation's happening. We've got comments coming in already. Bob, welcome from Westminster, Maryland. Awesome to have you here. Nico, welcome from Quebec, Canada. People are coming in, and that's where we're going to see this conversation together today so that we can really share. And I have a very, very special introduction to make to you today. This introduction is to a gentleman who you may have seen some of his videos showing up in the Guardian Alliance blog, which is a new area where we post agent updates from around the world. And this gentleman's name is Andrew Morrissey. He's a comic book artist, a filmmaker, mixed media producer. And Andrew, welcome so much to this first Guardian Alliance live session that we've had a chance to have you on, from all the way from Australia.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's a real honor to be here, and I've been watching what's going on and the momentum, and I think it's just, for me, it's just a fantasy come true, really, with this mythos of the comic book industry is really dominating the movie industry right now. This is the real myth of us as real heroes, you know, and this is the crossover now where Guardian Alliance is essentially the best platform I've ever seen, where people can tune into that mythical aspect of their own superhero archetypes. So this is amazing, you know. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks so much, Andrew. We're so stoked to have you here. And am I allowed to tell them about the art project that you're currently working on?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically Andrew is he's working with a comic book artist, and they're actually working on a mixed media campaign and a comic series. So we'll be featuring that information in the Guardian Alliance soon as there's some stuff available. Andrew, is there anything else you'd like to share about that before we wrap into the rest of the
any leaks of the artwork or anything that we can bring through, this is the only place that we're going to release it initially. So I think it's going to cover everything that I've seen within the levels you're bringing here. It's going to have the Star Walker aspect. We're going to look at the galactic history. We're going to really bring it down to earth for this elemental experience of people going through this journey of the hero and the superhero archetypes that really we're all stepping into on some level. And there's not a lot. I did just sign a non-disclosure agreement, so there's not a lot I can say on some level, but I can just say that we're really bringing the truth forward with the galactic history, and we're bringing it into a real-life situation where there's real heroes going to be real people in this, so the real heroes, including some members from the Guardian Alliance. So we'll have that announcement as soon as we can bring that knowledge forward.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm really excited to see that and to see the work. I've seen a couple of the sketches, and I won't say anything about them, but it's looking like a fantastic project, and I'm stoked to have you here. Today, also, as you can see in the lower right there, we have David Beaudry as well joining us. David, welcome.
Hey, what's up, brothers and sisters? So good to be here on this Sunday. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to diving in with everyone, answering your questions, and dropping into a deeper purpose of why we're here. So let's do it.
Awesome. And also we have Alexander Fairman. Welcome, Alex. Great to have you again here today.
Thank you, Adam. It's good to be here with all of you guys, and I'm excited for the conversation that unfolds. And for those of you who are watching, don't be shy. Please come forth and participate. Ask questions. There is no stupid questions. We're here to answer and explore everything that's coming up for the community and explore what's ahead. So stoked to be here.
Thanks, Alex. Stoked to have you here. And Simon Sutton coming in all the way from Malta.
Yes, greetings. Greetings, everybody. Beautiful, yes. Just very. I'm just arriving, actually. It feels nice just to arrive and listen to everyone introducing themselves, and good to be with you all out there, all Guardians. It's lovely to see a few familiar faces just popping up. So Katie there and Nico. Just want to just acknowledge you guys because I've watched your videos and it's great to have you here. So, and everybody else that's arriving. Let's just dive in and have fun.
Yeah, thanks so much, Simon. It's great to have you here, and thank you for dropping in and reminding us to get present. And that's one of the first things that we really want to do together today with you guys. And to to plant the seed for that, I just like really calling people in and welcoming everybody in to be a part of this session together, because it's through this circle that we're cultivating together that we really create the energy and the charge to bring through the gifts that we're really here to give. And this is what it means to create a community. It's to honor the gifts coming from every individual and helping to steward the path for those gifts to come together to create something greater than we can each make individually ourselves. So I'd just like to welcome those that have already commented on the board, that have really gotten in here on the page and gotten present. Bob from Westminster, congratulations on the Weaver badge, working on the Warrior and Ambassador, and thank you for feeling the shift in the world and really desiring to step in and offer yourself to that work and to train to develop that work. Nico from Canada, Mastery Ring 1 completed. Yes, awesome. Congratulations on earning that badge. And yes, you say that, knowing everything is one, you realize that by empowering others, you empower yourself. And that is one of the deepest keys in the Guardian Alliance. And I really honor and appreciate that you've said that. And also, Nico, I want to thank you for your great work on the Facebook page. I know you've been putting a lot of posts in and a lot of ideas on there. So everybody, Nico Indigo on the Facebook page, he's been rocking it out. Give him a hand. And Katie Lee, you just stepped into this alliance, but you've been showing up in the live sessions. You've finished all the courses already except for the healer opening, and you're taking your time with that one. Thank you so much for your presence. I saw you in the ambassador course. You dropped your video, sharing yourself, and it was absolutely exquisite. Thank you so much. All of you who are taking the ambassador courses, make sure to go into the ambassadors hall and check out some of the videos that the other ambassadors have been sharing there, to really show up and to show themselves and to practice, revealing a deeper part of themselves to the community and to the world at large. Thank you, Katie, for being here. Spiral Dancer from Lawrence, Kansas, all but the ambassador badge. So you have yet to get into the epic public speaking powerhouse that Alex Fairman laid down in the course there, and so I'm excited for you to get a chance to experience that. And thanks for your desire to continue working with us and dropping in deeper with us. Dale from Girdwood, Alaska, thanks for completing the entire course. Amazing. We are definitely looking forward to giving you some next rounds and stuff to chew on. We've got some new stuff that's going to be coming out pretty soon, and so I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later on the call. And so stay tuned, hold tight, and guys, as you come in, just keep coming in, drop some ideas in the discussion, share with us, if you're just getting started, let us know if you have any questions and marinate on those. If you've already completed Mastery Ring 1 or you're working through the course, come in, give us some feedback. What's your insights? Where have you learned from it so far? And where do you feel like you want to go with it, and how it's helping you refine your life? And where do you want to go next in your training? If you've already covered all the courses in the Guardian Alliance, what do you want to see next? What's the stuff that's coming up for you? Because we have a lot of teachers working on courses right now, and we're trying to identify, what's going to be the next release, the next step, and we really want to do that in tune with your needs as a community, so that we're building and connecting with you in that process. So thank you all again so much for being here. We've got a shout out from Numi. Thank you, Numi. Welcome in. And David Beaudry is now going to just kind of drop us all in together, connect us all in. And so, David, I'm going to turn it over to you to just help us get in our breath and get in our root and get here. Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone. It's such an honor to be here with all of you today. So simply sit tall, relax, and you can close your eyes. You can keep your eyes open, whatever you feel works for you. And just feel your feet on the earth. Begin to connect to the breath. Allow your tongue to touch the upper palate, activating your front and back channels. Begin to breathe down deep into your belly and just feel the frequency and vibration of Mother Earth today. There's a powerful energy moving here, and we're all called to a great purpose at this time. I honor you. I see you. And begin to breathe in this unconditional support, love, nourishment from the earth, and let it fill your whole being. Feel the support of the land. Feel the support of all of our ancestors. Feel the support of our brothers and sisters on the call today. Let that feeling overflow your heart. Taking a moment to breathe it in and just smile at your heart. And then feeling this energy of the divine begin to overflow our minds, activating our intuition, our divine connection, and realize that each one of you are a pillar of light here, whether you think you are or not. You're a seed of light and truth in your community, and we thank you for being here. There's a poem I'd like to share with you at this moment. So just keep breathing, just feeling this permeate your being, okay? This is from a book called The Mayan Oracle. And this is a poem about Ben, which means Cain in Mayan. And it starts like this. The magical child. I am Ben, Skywalker, time-space traveler, gentle messenger of the light. I am the touch of angelic grace. Once embraced in my robes of light, a new tone is struck. Sublime transfiguration becoming in you the fruit of divine's love, yearning for itself. I am the Skywalker who has come to the earth, entering this time and dimensional reality to initiate vision in this age of masks with few eyes. I reveal the sweet power in the simplicity of love as I awaken with my silken touch the resonance of heaven you have yearned for. The new harmonic octave has arrived. The song of the future returning to itself now pulsates through the frequencies of the earth. Even now its tender promise quickening with every cell of humanity, that these heavenly frequencies return in this time of the great miracle, to draw the shimmering center of humanity up to embrace the pillars of heaven, whose beams descend from the once and future dream, longing to awaken. Winged child who walks in wisdom and tenderness, thou art innocent laughter and flowered heart, open wide in inseparable passion. Move in uncharted territory. I am Ben, here to bridge you with a remembered message from your own heart. You are a pillar of light on earth, and heaven is where you stand.
Thank you so much, David.
You're welcome. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shall we begin?
It feels a lot like the practice, you know. I love how it ends with like, you are a pillar of light on earth, and heaven is where you stand. You know, that captures it so well, because so much of our deepest gifts in the world is about learning how to sit in that place where we are in heaven. You know, we are creating this beautiful heavenly light inside of us, and the recognition and the appreciation of ourselves, of our life, of our friends, of our community, of our family. All that is happening on the inside. And then when you stand here on the earth, you know, storms come, you gotta move, you gotta sell stuff, you got, you know, there's violence on the streets, there's wars happening, there's like crazy shit going down on the planet, you know? Government's lying to us and trying to manipulate us, like military industrial complexes, you know, major economic problems based on, you know, central banking institutions. And so how do we have that heaven here? Well, we gotta be in that heaven, and we gotta stand in that like a pillar here on the earth, and be the stability, be the strength, be that solid essence that can support others and that can create foundations for others to be uplifted. And that's a lot of, you know, the core of what, to me, guardianship is all about, and really what the Guardian Alliance is about. It's about creating that community of Jedi, of Jeds, of pillars. Jed is the ancient Egyptian word for the central pillar of existence. And it's in the Jed formula, you know, you see this base, and it goes up a pillar, and then there's these lines at the top. And each of the lines at the top represent a layer of the universe. And so through the Jed, you're connecting all the layers of the universe together inside of yourself, and so that means you're in heaven, and you're also here on Earth. So, a very appropriate poem for the Jedi, David. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Yeah, thanks for describing the Jed and really tuning us into that pillar together.
Mm-hmm. The other aspect of that central pillar that is taught in a lot of occult studies and knowledge and wisdom is that, you know, through that central pillar, often called the Haric line, which we talk about in several of the courses in Mastery Ring 1, that Haric line, that pillar of yours, is where you set your mind intent. It's where you set your focus of your will and your direction, and so it's deeply entwined with our purpose and our sense of purpose inside. And Alex, I know you wanted to share some insights about purpose today with us, because it's been something you've really been tapping into in yourself.
Yeah, so I know a lot of us right now, we know we have some big work to do on the planet. And a lot of us are also trying to figure out where that work begins and where that work happens. And, you know, many of us have just gotten our foundations under us, so we've got our material needs taken care of, but then there's the bigger question of, what are we here to do for the world? What is our great work? What is our thing that we can pour ourselves into day after day and it not get old, it not get tiring? That thing that you pour into and it actually pours back into you. And that is, when we find those things, that is when we overflow and we bring our greatest gifts to the world. Most of the people who are incredibly successful have aligned themselves with that purpose, and that's part of why they are. And to reach a certain level, that's the only way. So I want to talk a few things about purpose and a few little reminders about aligning yourself with your truest purpose. And there's a lot of ways that we discover it. And while most people would start this conversation about purpose by talking to you about your passions, you know, what are your passions? What are those things you love to do that don't get old, that don't get tired? Well, okay, that's great, but there's other aspects to finding your purpose that come from a deeper place than even just your passions and what you think is fun. And those are, I want to talk to you a little bit about your wounds. I want to talk a little bit about those areas that frustrate you the most about the world, because those are the places where your deepest purpose is found. Many of those who have gone on to be incredible healers, who've gone on to be incredible teachers, who've gone on to offer a gift to the world, had to go through some intense pain and suffering. If we look at Nelson Mandela, the guy is falsely, unjustly imprisoned for decades of his life. And instead of like allowing that pain that he went through to break him and to break him into a being of resentment and frustration and anger, it opened him even deeper to this purpose he has as a healer and as someone to unify people together. So again, for those of you with us, ask, and you already know what the pains are that you have. You already know what the struggles are that you have. But the question I want to ask you today is, how can you leverage that pain and that struggle to become the solution to it? for yourself and for others, because guaranteed if you're going through it, there are millions of people on this planet dealing with that same pain and that same struggle. And so if you can transform that story of whatever it is from being a story of victimhood, where it's happening to you, to a story of, this is my superhero narrative that I'm breaking through, and now this is the gift that I'm going to give to the world because I have healed or dealt with this in myself, therein is found your purpose. Therein is the thing that's going to sustain you day in and day out. And that's the one side of it, right, is the frustration and is the pain. If anyone wants to speak to that, jump in.
I can just say to that something that we both spoke about, Alex, before, which was that when we, and I like what we spoke about at the beginning, which Andrew mentioned about the superhero, right? So when we talk about the real life superhero, or as I said when I wanted to be, was striving to be a successful actor and follow the path of Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp, just because I love those guys and grew up loving them guys. And then I realized when I had my own shift in awareness and asked myself, what is truth, what is love? It was like, well, hold up, there's a whole real life movie being played out here, and I want to be a real life superhero in the real life movie, not the movie that's just on at the cinemas where you just go and watch on the screen and grab your popcorn and grab your your Coca-Cola, which is killing you, right? So what was really beautiful that you said the other day, Alex, and maybe you could speak to this because it adds to what you said, is that if we just use the film world, because a lot of people relate to that as an example, all great superheroes had the wound, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe you want to pick up from there, Alex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the wound is the place where the light enters. The wound is not there for no reason. The wound is the crack where the light goes.
I was wondering, Andrew, if you wanted to chime in on that too, because I know that's a big part of your story weaving in the comic process. And Alex, we'll come right back to you. Just check your signal.
Yeah. Andrew, hop in.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, that's really where David and myself called each other into the field originally, is when I was really getting off track with my soul's purpose. And I was in Thailand running an interior design company, and David and Jamie Daver just called me up, and before we know it, we're hanging out, and I really realized that, the start of the Universal Heroes was this collaboration now where the Guardian Alliance and Universal Heroes have come together, right? And for me, that wound was such a pain. Even now, I still have a little pain in the heart where I was off my alignment, off my passion. So, we can look at Superman, we can look at the kryptonite being his sort of weakness, but I feel it's actually knowing our wound is our power. We can actually even brand ourselves on some level authentically around that wound, because that gives us, that shadow almost gives us our juice, our power. So for me, this is a big part of the story arc that we're moving through, finding each real hero, real guardian, and not just presenting the fluffiness and the shininess of them, but sharing the wound, sharing the darker aspects of the fact that superheroes are completely flawed, we're completely flawed, and we can actually embrace that and bring that forward and offer that as the gift to the community.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah, carry on. Is it okay to throw something in there, Adam?
I was just going to chime in and say, yeah, that's why Batman is one of my favorite superhero characters, because, in his case, it's like his parents murdered, has this scary experience with bats, deals with this massive trauma as a child and the fear associated with that trauma, and then grows up and realizes he has to face that trauma, and so to do so, he trains himself to master his fear of the thing that's the most scary to him. And through that mastery of his fear, he develops his capacity to actually make the great changes that he wants to make in the world.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I'll just throw a sprinkle on there then, shall I? And we're bringing this right back to our guardians that are with us tonight, is that when we look at the film and that what Alex and we've all just contributed to. Now, when we look at our wound, don't judge your wound as, oh, that's not a good enough wound, right? because this is what happens as well. This is what blocks us, because we go, oh yeah, but you know, I never got abused when I was younger, or I haven't had that much of a bad upbringing, or whatever it is, because you know, my wound was being a criminal. As some of you know a little bit about my backstory, my wound was being a liar. Yeah, so all of a sudden, where I was a liar and a cheat, and I was a drug dealer, and I was in those realms, I was in that world of crime. That was what was holding me back from expressing my truth. So then when I could express my truth, which was that I had to bring into awareness everything that I had committed, everything that I'd done, all the harm and suffering that I'd caused, the lies, the deceit that I was actually creating through my own ignorance. When I brought that into awareness through the cathartic process and then expressed that, the wound, not only did it dissolve, but then it became my mission, as Andrew was just saying, the purpose to then support others to step into their truth and move them out of the invisible prison of the ignorance, the invisible prison of the lie. And now, as you can see, you're on this course, and what's my contribution to the Guardian Alliance? Communicating authentically. So there you go. There's the transformation of a wound right there.
Boom.
Yeah. And you did a fantastic job with Alex on the ambassador courses, Simon. I so appreciate your video work there and just how clearly and powerfully your authenticity comes through. So Alex, take us on.
So on one hand, we've got the wound. We've got that place where, you know, the pain and the original suffering happens that then can be transformed and transmuted. Well, the other place is this. You have to then look at the world, right? Because we all live in this world today, and getting tuned in with your purpose also has to do with finding the need, right? And the need may have nothing to do with your wound. It may nothing have to do with anything you've done before. It may actually have to do with something you're aware of that keeps coming up every day, and you're just like, you're noticing it, and you're noticing that the world needs something. It could be that there's a need for this sense of, you know, whether it's clean water in a disadvantaged country, or whether it's a better education in this country, or whether it's better leaders that we can actually trust. But like, you feel that you can find these needs, and when you really hone in on that need and you know and identify what's being asked for right now, that's the other opportunity to step into that superhero role that you can play, is by clearly seeing what the collective needs and saying, I don't know how, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to start with this little thing. I'm going to do this one little action that I think will help. If it's about bringing people together, I'll host a little dinner, and I'll bring some people from my neighborhood together. Let's start talking. If it's about bringing clean water to Africa or helping someone, you know, I give $20, and let's just see what that does. But that one little action starts to snowball with the power of actually action, and over time, then we get the big ripple effects that we're all creating together. And that's what's so exciting about us all being here in this thing together, each taking our little action, you know, but the effect is going to be so much bigger than any one of us could do alone.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that right along, you know, just comes right into the current of where we're going with the Guardian Alliance, which is to, you know, really bring more actions, more collective actions as teams and groups to our work on the planet. And a lot of that's inspired by you, Alex, and some of the contributions that you've brought in, and the ideas that you've been bringing in around, you know, putting us in gear, getting us into action. And there's two sides to this Guardian Alliance community. You know, on one side, there is this deep self-cultivation work and transformation work where you're having to go inward, you're having to look inside yourself, find belief systems that are not working, that aren't functioning in alignment with your highest Jed, and you know, process through those, break some of that stuff open, deal with some of the residual emotions, and strengthen your body, strengthen the clarity of your mind, get perspective on that, and practice, you know, coming into yourself and bringing yourself forward into the world. Then the other side is actually applying those gifts and those skills that are emergent in our process of tapping into our purpose, of tapping into where our strengths and our weaknesses are, and learning how to hone together those energies so that we can really fully show up. And so for the next cycle, one of the things that we're going to do is, starting in October, we're going to focus for 1 month at a time on each one of these archetypes. We're going to start with the warrior, we're going to move to the weaver, then the wizard, then the healer, the ambassador, and the star walker. And we're going to focus on one archetype a month for 6 months. And during each one of those months, we're going to focus on a very specific event. And we're going to come around through a couple different ways. We may have a couple live sessions. We may introduce new courses. We may have new media material for you guys to check out, so you can keep doing that inside work of development inside of these archetypes. But then we're going to also call you forward to a collective action that we're all going to do synchronized on one day all over the planet in these different places. You may do it at different times on that day, but we're all going to activate around these actions. And the first month, for example, in October, we're going to focus on an action that allows you to express your strength, your physical mastery, and your capacity of getting in your body and helping others to get into their bodies to make physical, real changes in the world. And so we're going to have an event oriented around that. Just like in Weaver, we're going to have an event oriented around tapping into your deeper emotional gifts and bringing through your passion and your emotions into your social realm and getting comfortable being in front of people, getting comfortable with yourself and what you're feeling and what you're expressing in the world. So look forward to that event series. There will be a page that posts the dates in each month that we will be doing those events. And of course, we'll have live sessions related to the events that happen before them, so that you can come in, we can all kind of upgrade, get synced, train, and be like, all right, we're going to go do this, let's go do it. And then you can come back in, follow up, write some comments and respond. So that's one of the exciting things that we have coming up here in the Guardian Alliance. So thank you guys again so much for being here. I wanted to welcome Phoenix. I saw Phoenix at Beloved Festival, which was awesome. And he's just getting into the courses. He's starting with the Weaver course, and it's the one that gives him tingles when he reads the description, and resonates with all the different the different archetypes to varying degrees. And I just want to presence that this is true for everybody, that we're actually all the archetypes, and they're all just like different parts of the spectrum of this white light that we are, this totality that we are. And this is just one way that the ray of creation sort of splits into archetypes. And we found that through looking at the archetypes as gifts that unlock certain parts of our bodies and certain parts of our being and certain skill layers in our bodies, that we can help to cultivate mastery in ourselves and in other people by going through the process of unlocking each one of these stages of consciousness inside of ourselves. And so you can go through Mastery Ring 1 from any direction. You can enter Weaver and then go in any direction that you want. But one of the effective means that I found is that if you feel really strongly one archetype in particular to start with, you should start with that one, because it's like starting with your strength. It's starting with your resonant node. And then a good idea is to check out what's going on the other side of the spectrum. So, for example, if you're called to the Weaver course, take the Weaver course, but then next, check out the Ambassador course, because it's at the opposite side of the spectrum from the Weaver course, which some of you may have seen and some of you may not have checked them out yet. You can find them under Courses, Live Sessions, and you'll see the 3 live sessions there. Each one of those focuses on one of these axes between the warrior and the healer, between the Weaver and the Ambassador, and between the wizard and the Star Walker. And learning about those polarities is a deep part of learning about the two sides, the polarity of developing mastery in yourself and where the tension is. You develop warrior skills, you get strong, you're like in your body, you're developing this strength and muscle, and you're like building. But as David Beaudry exhibits so well, it has to be balanced with gentleness and openness, with softness. And if you're working your body all the time, you need to develop the skill of being able to heal your body and nurture your body. And if you're in a space where you're dealing with conflicts and resolving conflicts, well, people in physical conflict situations are going to get hurt sometimes. And so you need the healer skills to back up those warrior skills. And vice versa, you know, to be a good, strong warrior, you need to learn the art of softness, of openness, of feeling through your body and sensing intuitively deeper levels of what's going on. So that's just one example of how these different course archetypes play with each other. David, did you want to add anything to that around the warrior healer?
Yeah, I did. You know, I feel like a lot of us on this call today, you know, are healers at heart on some way, some level, you know, and these archetypes are within each one of us. And what I find, you know, and what I've found in my travels, you know, teaching and so forth, is, you know, a lot of healers have big hearts but don't have necessarily good physical boundaries or a way to really ground themselves, you know. So when one of the biggest things in our process of like sharing our healing gifts is understanding like, okay, how can I send a grounding cord to the earth and understand when I'm like in my energy flow and when I'm beginning to you know, drain myself, or when I'm beginning to pick up other people's energy, you know. So there's this real balance of like, and the only way you can do that is through feeling your physical body. You know, so like through just these what may seem like, you know, push-ups, squats, when we do it with mindfulness, we're like, oh, I can actually feel the energy moving in my system. I can feel areas of stagnation breaking up through yoga and through these other, you know, physical practices that allow a greater opening, a deeper unraveling of the emotional stagnations that are held in our body tissues, you know. So so I find that's one of the real simple and easy ways to connect those two.
Beautifully said. And Phoenix just responded. He got the tingles again, feeling that connection between those vibrations of the Weaver and Ambassador. Alex and Simon, would you guys like to share anything around the Ambassador Weaver axis?
Yeah. So it's the same thing in the sense that you've got these two polarities that you're working with. On one hand, your Weaver is your ability to let yourself feel and to experience your emotions and to actually be at the effect of and really experience the world. And the Ambassador, on the other hand, is your ability to influence the world, is your ability to share your perceptions with the world, and actually, you know, the word is power, and it goes out, and you are influencing people all the time with the power of your words. So having those two polarities of both the feeling side and then the influencing and making other people feel is the axis we're talking about. And if you see that channel is really strong in some people, like they have an ability to be continually almost expressing from their feelings, and it's like it seems as though they have the gift of they could just talk forever, but it's really that this channel is just wide open. Now sometimes it's too wide open and we need those people to chill out a little bit, but you get the idea in the sense that there's this feeling that can be channeled into communication, and that's one of these three different actions we're talking about here. Simon, do you want to know anything more about this?
Did you hear what just happened to the whole sound as you started speaking? It was like the whole channel opened, and then it went into echo range, and then it was like, wow. I think you just opened up some other channels, yeah, I don't really need to add too much to what you just shared, other than that alignment that takes place when we really feel, as David said as well, it's a link with them all, as Adam's already said. But like when you get into alignment with those four aspects of yourself, you just feel very grounded in your ability to really express and be who you are, without the need for outside fulfillment, without the need for others' recognition, without the need of other people coming to, you know, pat you on the back, because this is way beyond getting a pat on the back. You know, this is way beyond this idea of like, I need confirmation from other people outside of myself. This is where we come deep into our own well of wisdom, the resources, as David beautifully did at the beginning, tapping into our ancestors, tapping into the truth of the planet itself, you know, as a living, breathing organism, as an intelligence. So when we tap into our truth, we're tapping into our ability to really express what wants to come through. And I think that's where the Weaver and the Ambassador really support each other, because, as Alex said, your feelings, you might have heard this saying where your feelings are the language of your soul, the true language of your soul. So when we're tapping into our truth, authentic feelings, then we're harnessing the power to communicate from that place in our vulnerability, then all of a sudden you're just boom, you know, you're like carving through any of the lies and the pain body aspects of like shame, guilt, blame, self-doubt, self-sabotage, and so on. So yeah, it just feels that when those two are aligned, yeah, you just, again, you tap into this innate power that we have within us, which is also scary, right? So I don't know if anybody wants to pick up on there, but that's what it feels like from me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be very scary and potent to, one, just really have to face what's really going on in your emotions. I mean, in our society and culture, one of the things that we face a lot is like, especially as men, and right now, like this is an amazing group of well-balanced men that have come together cultivating this first layer of the course series, and I'm really excited to bring in some of the women that have been working on courses, and they're taking their time, they're gestating it, they're gonna birth us some really epic stuff. But right now, you know, we have this array of men holding this space. And for men in the world, you know, one of the things that we face a lot, especially in westernized culture, is this idea that if you share your emotions too much, you share what you're feeling on the inside, then you're weak. You know, you're a pussy, you're a whatever. You know, there's all these name callings and things like that happen when we're in early school, middle school, primary school, high school. You know, and there's this belief that if you're a real man, you know, you got to be like the Marlboro Man and like have no emotion. You got to be like the Western guy who just like, you know, has always got a grimace on his face and he's never shows you his weaknesses, you know. And that's one of the illusions that we're given by the movie industry, is this idea that strong men never share their emotions. Because the truth is that men who never share their emotions or let their emotions out, what happens is it builds up on the inside, and then eventually it explodes out through rage, anger, violence. You know, as I've talked about with some of the women in my life who have done a lot of work around the women's moon cycle and the process of, you know, really honoring their menstruation cycle, honoring their lunar cycle of energy where they're bleeding, and one of the things that we talked about is, well, men have lunar cycles too. You know, we're also influenced by the moon. We're here on the planet. We affect each other when we hang out with each other. We're influenced by hanging out with women that are going through their cycles. And what happens is, if we don't have a time in the month where we can actually drop in and relax and get in touch with our emotions and share, either through men's circles or through, you know, supportive community structures, or just through hermitage and taking time to ourselves to feel our emotions, then what happens is it's like we're stopping up all that stuff, and then the way that we release it, because we're not letting ourselves bleed, is we go and we make others bleed. We're going to make somebody else bleed because we haven't dealt with the part of us that actually needs to bleed and release that anger, release that emotion that's built up inside of us. So it's really essential for us to get in touch with our emotional cycles, our emotional waves. And then the art of becoming a good ambassador is about learning how to expose that in a way that lets other people see that emotion and lets other people see who you really are and what you're really going through, so that they can trust you. Because if you don't share with the emotion that's inside of you, it's really difficult to trust you. You know, I watched this video recently, it's in Gaiam TV, and David Wilcock's been interviewing all these guys, and this guy's talking about this extraterrestrial species, the avians, and he's talking about disclosure and some really interesting stuff. But as I shared in the Wizard Starwalker session, you know, when you watch this guy talk, it's like he's a robot and he's talking about it and everything's flatlined and he's just telling you all of this information and it's just information, and you swear you're listening to an android. You're like, this person's not real. He's running a program. And so, you know, my intuition is like, huh, I don't trust that. Like, I don't trust that guy. I can't feel him. He's not there. It's just information. It's like a program running. But where's his personal experience? Where's his vulnerability? Where did he have his challenge and his pain? Because I sure as hell have had tons of challenges and pain and transformation and confusion in my life that has brought me to awakenings and higher communication and higher experiences in my life. And that's what the Wizard and the Star Walker courses are about. They're about the fact that, you know, when you go through school and you go through the process of learning in the standard education system, you run up against the end of it real quick. And when you hit the end of it, you're like, wow, they don't actually have answers for energy. They don't have answers for how we affect the world around us or how psychic abilities occur. And so you got to dive deeper underneath the surface of this occult layer. And when you get in there, you realize that people have actually known about this information and have worked on it and have had keys to it for thousands of years. And you begin to find that there's all of this magical understanding that's beneath the surface, and accessing all of it, bringing your gifts forward from it, begins with a very simple step, which is learning how to master your mind. How you think, and what you bring forward in your thoughts into your emotional feeling and creation and physical process. So that's what the Wizard is about. It's learning how to tap in to your mind as this unlimited, incredible architecture that has unlimited potential to create and to make things real. And it balances with this other place, which is the Star Walker key. And the Star Walker key is not just about mastering your mind on the inside, it's about learning how to open your vision and your receptivity to what's actually going on out here around you, what's actually going on in the different layers of reality that we're experiencing here. Beyond just the fact that there's a tree and there's air and there's earth, but that if you look into the sky, you're seeing hundreds of billions of stars, hundreds of billions of galaxies full of hundreds of billions of stars, that there are experiences people are having of spirits coming into their space, of seeing people getting possessed by other kinds of beings that are not them, that we have all these psychological disorders and issues in the world that are completely misunderstood because we don't have a greater context for how that could happen, how there could be a connection between us and people that have already passed away, a connection between us here and people that are living on other planets. We don't have the context for it because our science hasn't fully grounded the realization that we are actually capable of communicating, thinking, and processing consciousness faster than light and non-locally across space-time. And it's catching up. You know, Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research Group has done a ton of amazing work, as we talk about in the courses, of exposing these capacities inside of us. So the Wizard Starwalker axis is really about learning how to completely be receptive to all the possibilities that are out there. And then the Wizard is about mastering, discerning, and using your mind as a vehicle to really get down to the truth. What is the truth? What's that integrative truth that is hidden inside of all that wisdom and knowledge? So yeah, that's what I'm excited about, is how all of these beautiful pieces come together, because they all need each other. Do any of you guys have anything you want to add to that, or to any of these axial correlations or connections?
I think we should just breathe what you just downloaded in for about a minute in silence.
All right, let's do it. So it's beautiful to me that all of these different pieces of the spectrum interact with each other in these beautiful ways. And some people ask, why is there only six? Why is there only six archetypes? Well, part of it is because of these axes and how they interplay and interact. But the truth is that there's actually a seventh, and the seventh is all of them together. It is mastery. And that's why we call them mastery rings, because mastery only really is developed as you cultivate all the different pieces of yourself and you bring them into the whole. You bring them into that part of yourself that's infinite, that's unlimited, that has an eternal stream of wisdom coming through you. Because you are so much more than any one of these archetypes. You are truly, magnificently, incredibly wonderful. And you may approach these different tasks to find out where your strengths, your weaknesses are, and to develop on them, and to work on them, and to improve yourself. But it is really through the threading of the interconnection of all the different pieces of yourself that you can really come into a wholeness and into a mastery in your life and really step in and become that superhero that you seek to become. Thank you, Patty, for fully supporting the development of women as strong guardians coming into mastery. Yes, awesome. So thankful to have you here, Patty, and your presence is just amazing. You've contributed so much to the Facebook page, as well as Sean, and so I just really appreciate your presence, and thank you so much for being here. Guys, do you have anything else you'd like to share today before we start to wrap up the session?
Feeling good.
Sure.
Feeling glad that this is big, even just for me. Every time we gather, I feel like I get so much reminders and so many like healings from just being around you guys. So thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, for the aspect of what you're talking about, these crossovers, the polarity of the Guardian Alliance and how this is all sinking into people finding their gifts, bringing them forward from almost from a place of, for me, it's a place of vulnerability. As an Australian man, we're taught to be, okay, mate, there's a tinge here, So for me, I found my power in being vulnerable. And I think now what's exciting me as you're talking about social media, right? As we learn aspects of our archetype and our multidimensional self, and we bring that forward, the next level is really where we take it to the social media level, where we present ourselves or we take photos of our journey. And this, to me, is going to be the next level. As you talked about, in October, we're going to start with the Warrior. I'm excited. I've been waiting to really dive into the courses, but I'm going to wait until collectively we go into this social media journey together in October. So I'm just here as not only as someone coming from a space of vulnerability and exploring the archetypes, but I'm also here just because I think the platform of education of what you've created, guys, is fantastic. From my experience, the chakras and this knowledge, rather than a form, but you've created a platform, has been the most exciting part for me, seeing what you guys have developed. And congratulations.
Thanks so much, Andrew, and it's so great to have you here, bro, and also to see you and David Beaudry here again. You guys were really cultivating the Universal Heroes meme together, and so so honored to have you here, David. Thanks so much for being here and for all your contributions on the courses.
Yeah, you're welcome. And there's one thing I just wanted to share. There's a responsibility is the word that's coming. We each have a responsibility, first to ourselves, really, and living our own truth as much as we know how to, And these skills here in these courses will each help us, because we're all learning and it's a constant unfolding. And then as we do step into roles of teachers and within our communities in whatever way, shape, or form, or business leaders, whatever it is, you have that foundation to share from. And because responsibility now is a whole nother level. Because everything you do, every action you take, will be looked at, and you know, we realize. I'm just saying, you know, with some of my teachers, like, wow, like I've loved this person and honored them, and there's certain aspects that I'm like, wow, like there's a huge blind spot, you know. And so that's what we are as a community, where we help each other see our blind spots and give ourselves a space to see our wounds, so that, you know, no being's left behind, you know.
Word.
We're all awakening together, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you all, learning a ton every time. So, yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, David.
Very nice. Very nice.
And Simon, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to just say something to the Guardians, from a place of authentic communication, that I haven't been showing up in the hall as much as I'd like to. So I just want to say to all of you that have done those beautiful videos, you know, I haven't come back to all of them, and it's something that I spoke to Alex about just this last week, and we're just in communication on how best to communicate with you guys around this this video task, because what I'm feeling is that maybe a little webinar specifically on that, where either me and Alex or even just myself show up and I create a little answer your questions, because what was happening was I was seeing a lot of them and each one needs its own explanation and sharing. So I'm thinking of maybe creating a video for you, so just watch that space. I just want to share with you that I'm there observing, and you're all doing amazing videos, and you're completing the course. So I just wanted to just show up on that place for you all tonight. And just say one last thing, that we are joyful activists, if you want to call that, sacred activists. And what you're doing is you're reprogramming your own consciousness and make it an enjoyable thing. So when you're expressing your message and sharing your message to the world, really feel that joy in you, because sometimes we take the burden of the world on us and then we film ourselves and we look really serious, you know. It's like, God, we got to make a difference in the world and it's a serious matter, you know. And it's like, whereas what I want you to do is just do what David did at the beginning of today's session. Just breathe, fill yourself up, connect into that pure place, and then just bring that light-hearted joyfulness that you're serving something greater than yourself. And that is actually a beautiful way to express your message with that joy. So I just want to end on that tonight and say, keep shining, and me and Alex will be focusing on those videos over this coming month, okay?
Awesome. Thanks so much, Simon, and thanks for tuning in and just sharing your process. And you know, sometimes we all have to get away from the computer work a little bit, and then we can come back in and we can engage and continue to work on this community. So there's a few things that have come up in some of the arenas that definitely want to draw people's attention to. We recently, just in the last session that we did, which was the last live session on the Wizard Starwalker, we asked people to create their own sigil. And so if you haven't done that yet, go watch that video and check that out, and step into the process of starting to think about what it's like to cultivate and create your own magical sigil that can represent you, your flag. And we'll be doing some more work on that in sacred geometry work in courses in the future, but that's a good place to get started. And you can see some of the sigils that people have already been making and creating on the site, which is pretty exciting. And as Simon touched in the ambassadors arena called the Hall under the arenas area, you know, people have been sharing the videos where they've been sharing their gifts and what they've been going through and their lessons and learning how to communicate and how to share their ambassador self. So definitely head over there and check that out. A quick tip that's useful, you know, if you're trying to figure out if people have responded to your comments, or just get a quick review of your comments, what you can do, or anybody's comments on the site, what you can do is right there in the discussion, if you click on their name, it'll open a side window panel and it will show you where they've been posting on the site and what they've been posting on the site. And it showcases for you like where that communication has happened. And it's also great, you can click on your own name and you can see who's replied to you, who you've been talking to. So it's a really quick way to kind of get a sense of what's been going on in the commenting system, and that's one of the reasons we use Discus is for that ease of use. So I'm also excited to announce that upcoming really soon, we're going to be releasing the Guardian Alliance membership program, and the members program will give you unlimited access to a whole series of archived courses, mini courses, extra video trainings, and other media resources. It's going to give you like a whole series of stuff that you don't have to buy individually. Some of them may be available at some point outside of the membership program for like a couple dollars each for the mini courses and things like that. But I want a way to have you guys be able to come in and just, you know, literally for $10 a month, you just have unlimited access to a whole series of epic resources. And that kind of contribution also is really, really going to help us continue to build the Guardian Alliance at this point, because we're still a very small community. We're still all investing more time and more money than is coming back through it, but we really want to continue to cultivate and nourish this community to grow it so we can grow our action power, so that we can give more scholarships away, so that we can really do empowered positive actions on the planet. And that's really my intention, to continue to grow this academy to a very large scale. And all of you that are in there now are going to become the leaders who are going to be helping to onboard and helping to guide students in the next layer. So thank you guys so much for being here with us, and I'm so excited for where we're going and the work that we're doing, and some of the other alliances of communities and academies that are starting to come in. And we'll be revealing a lot more of that in the coming months. So I'm excited to do this with you, and just so stoked to be a part of this adventure with you guys. All right, so in closing, I'd like to just drop us in a little closing meditation. We'll wrap up, and I'll say farewell when we're done. So let's just drop into these archetypes in ourselves. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to tune in to what is our highest self. What's our most powerful, highest, most brilliant, most incredible aspect of our beings in each one of these archetypes. And we're going to focus on them one at a time. So right now, just get in your body, feel the gravity in your body, feel your connection to the earth, feel your muscles, your strength, flex them a little bit, flex your legs and your arms and your chest, feel the muscles in your body. And relax them, and breathing into them, I want you to just see, with your eyes closed, imagine, what do you look like when you are the most fully embodied warrior you can be? What does your body look like? Do you have any clothes on? If not, that's fine. You might be Tarzan. But if you're wearing gear, what does that gear look like? What's your warrior gear look like? What kind of warrior are you? Is it archer gear? Is it a suit of armor? Is it like X-Men suit? What's yours look like? Just take a minute and tune in to that warrior embodiment. Feel it on your body. Your powerful warrior. Your warrior of truth and spirituality. Your warrior for the good of all people on the planet. Your guardian warrior. Take a deep breath and feel it. And give thanks to that part of yourself. And then come in and tune into your lower belly, your sacral chakra. Just tune into your feelings inside of your body and begin to open up to, what does your weaver look like? What's that like most sensual, sexual, sexy, yummy part of you that's got full of emotions and rich feelings and passions and expressions, and that part of you that's just deeply vulnerable in a way, but also totally exposed socially, in this beautiful, glorious way that's super authentic. Your deep, authentic, sensual, sexual self. What do you look like there? What do you wear in that space? How does that part of your higher self work and embody and show up in the world? Just tune into that for a moment. Now take a deep breath and just feel the feeling charge of that archetype in your body. And give thanks for that part of yourself. Now tuning into your solar plexus, your brilliant solar core. What does your wizard look like? What part of you is magical, mysterious, full of potency, full of ideas and strategies and the capacity to change the world? That part of you that's brilliant in your mind and knows how to weave things into structures and create new things on the planet. Your Lego builder, your business builder, your strategist, your powerful chess being your magician, your magi, your wizard. What does your wizard look like? How does your wizard feel in your body? And what does it feel like to have the mental clarity and magical power of the wizard to make changes in yourself and create a world of your dreams? What does it look like and feel like to be in that wizard self? Take a deep breath into your solar plexus and just let that wizard expand. That power and presence. Give thanks for that wizard part of yourself. Such a magical being that you are. Now tune into your heart. Feel into that place of the healer inside of you. What is the vibration and the emotion of the healer within you? That part of you that cares about what other people are feeling. That part of you that wants to see the planet healthy and nourished and healed. The part of you that wants to be healthy in yourself and nourish the health of all life around you. What's that part of you feel like? And what's that part of you look like and dress like and express yourself as? Take deep breaths into your heart. Give thanks for that part of yourself. Give thanks for that healer in you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm thankful for you healers who are here with us today. And then tuning into your throat, your words, your voice, your commands, the power of your communication. What is the message and the story that you are here to share with the world? If there is one deepest truth that you could share with the world, focus on that now and see yourself expressing that to thousands of people. See your ambassador shining with that truth. What do you look like? How does it look? How does it feel to share that deepest truth? Tune into that truth now. What would you share with the world if they were all listening to you right now? Make a little sound in your throat just to get it vibrating, and take a deep breath in and let it out with that sound. Good. Now tune into your third eye, opening your inner vision, the inner insight, the inner light of your potency and your capacity. Open the Star Walker inside of you. See yourself as more than this, as being able to travel through the realms of existence, through all of the spiritual realms. You are in heaven as you are here as a pillar on earth. You can connect with other beings on other levels. There are spirits because you are a spirit. See inside now. Open your mind to that part of you that has the capability to see through the matrix, to see through the worlds, to see across the stars to other planets and other planetary systems, to see the truth, to see what is possible, the wholeness of all that is. What does that part of you look like that is the spiritual master, the one who is open to the truth of all existence? The galactic traveler in you, the spirit walker in you, the astral traveler, planeswalker, lucid dreamer in you. What does it feel like to let in more of all that is to who you are? Take a deep breath into your third eye, fill it up, open it up, and relax it open, allowing it to open just as much as it needs to for you to be who you are and see yourself fully as you are now. Give thanks for that part of yourself. And now one last opening up our crown chakra, opening up to the infinite, eternal, above and below, and allowing ourselves to just for a moment relax all of our intention, all of our will, all of our mind into the mystery. Who are you? Where did you really come from? What is your origin? When did you begin? Who are you? Yeah, just let that mystery simmer and marinate. Let that flow into your journey to becoming a master in your own life. Thank you all so much for being with us here today. Welcome. Thank you for being a guardian and part of the Guardian Alliance. Stay tuned for emails from us with more on our schedule, more cool stuff coming up soon, and send you guys all my blessings. I'm moving this month. I may be moving across the lands and across the country by October, so I may be dropping in for those action sessions with you in October from a whole new place. So I look forward to seeing you there, and thanks guys so much for being here with me again today. I love you guys so much.
Love you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Blessed be, guys. Blessings, community. Aloha, Guardians.